everybody, and welcome back to another 5-minute game of chess. I have just gotten back from a vacation. I'm feeling a little bit fresh. I'm ready to get back into the pool, and hopefully we can get things cooking up again. I've played e4 here against Cantori Poeta, and let's see if we can get a fun and interesting game. So, still trying to get back on schedule with everything that's been going on, trying to get back to publishing a chess video every single day. But if there's a couple more days that I'm missing just because, trips can be a little bit tougher when you're having kids, and it's a little bit different. Just give me a second, okay? It's just going to be like a day or two. We'll get ourselves back on pace here. But first, let's see what we can do with the URUSOV Gambit. If there's only one opening that I think I can win with in chess, that's not true. But the URUSOV Gambit is one that I should not lose with. Let's castle queenside. Opponent goes for this very quick, accelerated kingside development over here. And let's start aiming all of our pieces in with the general plan of bringing this guy in at some point, bringing this bishop back in order to make some sort of attack. Let's see. Because, like, if d6, the opponent is ready to play something like bishop to f5 in order to try to defend this square, which I'm going to be attacking. I should probably meet d6 with bishop to d3 right away, rather than bringing my rook into the middle. But I think both are actually playable moves. And is this some weird draw line? I'm not entirely sure. There's like sometimes some d5 stuff trying to convince me to trade a lot of pieces, just giving back the pawn, trying to trade down. It's also probably a possible option for black. I'm not sure if it is here or not. But d6, bishop d3. So I'm lining up here, threatening to remove the knight, and then take on h7. And if h6, I probably take right away. This is usually the right answer. Trying to think about how I want to meet this, but I can just simply drop back, and my queen is threatening to come in. Wait, is that even true? But I will take this. This also might be an alternative option, allowing black to try to take this, opening up the h-file. Also felt very, very dangerous. And I think there is some line there that in the rook a to e1 line that Stockfish frequently misevaluates, at least at lower depths. So if here, I'm asking myself the question, can I go here? Obviously, you can't take with the knight, because there's problems on h7. But if you take with the bishop... Wait, maybe that just works for you. So I actually need to come up with a better line. But if here, I should be feeling good, I suspect. Knight to g4 is what we... Or no, you can't do knight to g4, because you're hanging this square. So now I want to come here and do stuff. But the opponent's not going to let me. But I'm still going to try it. So I'm trying to bring my bishop into h7, forcing you into this alignment that then will be winning for me. And if you take my bishop, I take back with my rook. So this still feels like a very powerful attack. If you do take my bishop, you get bishop to f5 as a resource, which the opponent has noticed right away. So this bishop is going to be coming here. But let's try going here. Bishop, I'm expecting, to go back to g6. And we're close, we're close, we're close. There is here, which is kind of a funnier move. If the bishop drops back right away, I can play knight to g6. You can't take, because then I'm smashing through into here. And I'm forking you, so you're in a lot of trouble. This should probably just be a winning position here for white already. But let's see what the opponent comes up with. Is there anything better... The knight here, I can't imagine. So let's go here. Knight to e6. Threatening checkmate. So I think you actually maybe have to take my knight. Then queen takes to not let the king run away. Followed by rook to h3 should be checkmate. I don't think there's any other way you can stop this. I guess you could go here. But that's not going to work. So, checkmate ends the game, and that's how you win with the URUSOV Gambit. Let's go. This is one of my absolute most favorite ones, and here is how you do it. You start with the bishop's opening. You play pawn to d4, and after they take this, you play knight to f3. And most of the time, people won't take this. They'll play here, and you can play some Nachmanson gambits by going here and playing knight to c3. And there's so many other gambits. This could lead to... In Evan's gambit, it could lead to like almost a million different gambits from this kind of position, but if they take, they're entering into the URUSOV gambit by accepting this pawn, and maybe the first surprise, if people haven't seen it, is you take back with your queen in order to accelerate your development on the queen side. You force the knight to go back. One very common mistake that you see 21% of the time is here, and I know I've had this before, but after castling, what usually happens is that they're taking here, you play rook to e1, and then instead of taking this knight, you take on g7, forcing their rook to move. You're going to bring this guy in. A lot of people have lost the game this way, so this is just kind of a cool trap. I didn't know what other video to mention it in, but it's something that I've seen quite a few times that has also won me a lot of games. But if they play the normal way, knight to c3, bishop e7, the typical situation here is you're developing like this. We're a pawn down, and the computer can't decide if it's equal or a little bit better for white. This is definitely very, very dangerous for the opponents. Whenever your queen gets attacked, you swing over to h4, and after d6, bishop d3, this is kind of one of the important points, is significantly stronger than just bringing your rook in. If you bring your rook in right away, which is a very good square for the rook, then there is some bishop to f5, and the opponent is able to defend against this, and now if ever bishop to d3, they can trade for your bishop. So that's why in this position, I brought my bishop back to d3, threatening to remove this knight and then try to take this h-pawn. But after h6, I decided to take, and I think here is where there is a different option. So obviously, you can't go too wrong with +3. But I remember there being a line like this that Stockfish does kind of get wrong, where if they take, okay, it does recognize now that this is wrong. You can play knight to g5, and for some while, for some earlier thing with Stockfish, it thought g6 was the move, but here it sees it right away. The idea is that you can bring your king up and you can bring a rook over, but now Stockfish is strong enough to know this. But you bring your queen into h6, denying the king this ability, and you're going to be able to set up some checkmating attacks, which actually end up being kind of crazy if you dig really deep into this. But yeah, here, removing this knight is a straightforward way of doing it. But wait, 1 second, knight b4? So it thinks it's +19, and then after this, it's like, oh yeah, it's mate in 6. So this is like a possible way. But if you bring your rook in right away, the opponent doesn't have to take this bishop, and instead could play differently. So I decided to take. I was a little bit afraid of what I was meant to do here, but now it's actually not so scary at all. Okay, all of my fears have been allayed. It's actually quite simple. Everybody looking for the one thing they want to make fun of me for in the comments, there you go. I didn't know what to play in my head in this position. Go ahead, roast me. Stop challenging me. I'm doing analysis for a YouTube video. Let's speed it along. We got to figure this out. So then I decided to take this guy. After this knight came in. Maybe there are some other options here as well, but knight to g5 looks strong enough. Here I'm able to take with this. This allows the bishop to come to f5, but after this I'm not sure how black is actually meant to survive this, because the way it happened in the game, they allowed knight to e6, which is something easy to overlook. A little bit more tenacious would be to develop this knight, which doesn't look particularly great, and it does allow me to just take the knight, because there is this checkmating threat, so you're not going to be able to do this. But if you decided to take here check, I would take here. Now you can go back, and this maybe is the best that they can do, but h4, it looks strong for white, and probably there's some other options as well. So we are just completely winning. They decided to go back, but now knight to e6. Best move here, according to the computer, is knight to e8, which is one way to defend against this, and then better than taking the queen is this brutal knight to d5. Or just simply h4, and somehow we're going to be making so many powerful threats. Let's say you decide to keep this. Oops! Knight in here, where it can be tacked by 2 different pieces. But if the knight takes, then there's a checkmate. And if the bishop takes, then you can take this rook, removing the defender. Oh, that's kind of crazy for the bishop, for the rook coming in. And now there's going to be some checkmate here. Yeah, also knight f4 is cool. Knight f4 is a really cool way to finish that one off. Yeah, I mean, there was some definite cool stuff here going on. But yeah, what happened in the game is their queen was attacked, so they moved it away, and I was able to give them a checkmate and won. And if you like this, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys for the next video.